In the swamps of Central Africa, something stands completely still. It hasn't moved for 40 minutes. It's not a tree stump. It's not a stone. It's a bird, nearly 1.5 meters tall, watching the water with the focus of a surgeon about to cut. Then in 0.3 seconds, the strike happens. The bill hits like a wooden mallet, wide, flat, hooked at the tip, designed over millions of years for exactly this moment. The prey never had a choice. But today, this bird has a problem it cannot solve with speed alone. Today, a crocodile found its nest. Stay with me, because what happens next isn't what anyone expected. The shoebill, Balaeniceps rex, doesn't look like a bird that belongs in this world. Stand one next to a 5-year-old child, and it's the same height. Its bill is 24 centimeters long and nearly 10 wide, shaped like a Dutch wooden shoe with a razor hook at the end. That bill can snap a lungfish in half. It can crush a juvenile Nile monitor. There are documented cases of shoebills killing small crocodiles. It lives in the papyrus swamps of Uganda, Sudan, Zambia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, floating mats of vegetation where the water is chest deep and the air smells of mud and rotting reeds. Shoebills are almost entirely silent. They make one sound, a loud mechanical clatter like a machine gun made of bone when they snap their bill shut. During breeding season, both male and female use that sound to communicate. Outside of it, they say nothing. There are fewer than 5,000 shoebills left in the wild. Each breeding pair produces at most 1 chick per season. Every nest matters. The breeding season begins between April and June, when the rains pull back and the swamp settles into a thick, warm stillness. The shoebill doesn't choose a tree. It doesn't choose a cliff ledge. It builds its nest on the water, or just above it. A floating platform of reeds, papyrus stems, and swamp grass, woven together over days into a structure nearly 1.5 meters across. The bird carries each piece individually, flying low over the water, picking up stems, pressing them into the growing mat. Why on water? Because land is where leopards walk. Land is where monitor lizards patrol. Water creates a buffer. A crocodile approaching a nest in the open swamp makes noise, creates ripples, announces itself. The shoebill trades one threat for a different, more manageable one. The pair works together, though calling it together is generous. Shoebills are solitary by nature. Even during breeding, each bird maintains its own territory within the shared space. They coordinate around the nest. They don't socialize. When the nest is complete, the female begins laying. Shoebills produce 1 to 3 eggs, usually 2. Each egg is roughly the size of a large lemon, greenish-white, slightly chalky to the touch. She doesn't lay them all at once. There's a gap of 3 to 5 days between eggs. That gap is a biological decision, not an accident. The first chick will hatch first. The second, days later, smaller, weaker, already behind. What happens to that second chick? We'll get to that. Incubation lasts about 30 days. Both parents take turns, but turns here means shifts that can last hours. The incubating bird doesn't eat during its shift. It sits. In equatorial heat that can reach 35 degrees Celsius, it sits on those eggs and keeps them alive. There's a specific behavior that takes most people by surprise when they first see it. On the hottest days, the shoebill scoops up water in its bill, filling that massive pouch with swamp water, and pours it slowly over the eggs. Not to drown them, to cool them. Eggs that overheat die. The shoebill knows this, not because it thinks it through, but because every bird that failed to do this didn't pass its genes on. The nest sits in open water. The papyrus forms a loose curtain around it, but it's not hidden. From above, a martial eagle or African fish eagle could spot it. From the water, anything swimming could reach it. The shoebill's response to aerial threats is simple. Stay on the nest. Its size is the deterrent. Few birds will land to challenge a standing shoebill. Aquatic threats are different. In these swamps, Nile crocodiles, Crocodilus niloticus, can reach 5 meters and 500 kilograms. They don't need to eat a shoebill. They don't particularly want to. But eggs? Eggs are easy calories, low risk, undefended, or so the crocodile assumed. Day 14 of incubation. The shoebill is on the nest, the female, based on her slightly larger body and broader head. The male is somewhere in the swamp, maybe 200 meters out, standing in water up to his belly. The crocodile appears without warning. Not a large one, maybe 1.8 meters. Juveniles are the opportunistic ones. But 1.8 meters of muscle moving silently through black water. It surfaces near the edge of the papyrus, eyes just above the waterline. It's been watching the nest for minutes, maybe longer. The shoebill sees it the moment it moves. She doesn't call, she doesn't retreat. She rises to her full height, standing almost directly over the eggs, and faces the crocodile. Here's what you're looking at. A bird that weighs 4 to 7 kilograms, standing between two eggs and an animal that outweighs her by a factor of 20 or 30. She is not afraid. Or if she is, fear is not the thing driving her behavior. What's driving her is the same force that built the nest, that poured water over the eggs on hot days, that kept her sitting still through thunderstorms. She's not making a brave choice. She's doing what her species has done for millions of years, standing ground. The crocodile pushes forward. The shoebill snaps her bill, that loud mechanical crack, and lunges. Not a full strike, a warning. The crocodile hesitates. She lunges again, closer this time. The bill swings in a short, precise arc. Exactly the same motion she uses to kill fish, aimed directly at the crocodile's snout. Crocodiles are built for ambush. They're not built for being hit in the face. The snout is sensitive. The eyes are vulnerable. The crocodile pulls back half a meter. What follows isn't a quick fight. It's a standoff that lasts close to 20 minutes. The crocodile doesn't leave. It circles, moving slowly through the papyrus, testing the perimeter, looking for an angle. Crocodiles are patient. They've survived 200 million years on patience. The shoebill tracks every movement. She turns with the crocodile, keeping herself between it and the eggs. Her body language is unlike anything you'd see in a panicked prey animal. There's no scrambling, no shrieking. She tracks, she holds, she waits. Twice more, the crocodile makes a direct approach. Both times the shoebill meets it, bill snapping, body angled forward, that curved hook aimed at exactly the point most likely to cause the crocodile to stop. Ask yourself this. A 4-kilogram bird has now driven back a predator 20 times her size. Not once, but 3 times. How? Part of the answer is physics. The shoebill's bill strike has been estimated at forces comparable to a hammer blow. A direct hit to the crocodile's sensitive nasal region would cause genuine pain. But the larger part of the answer is information. The crocodile is running a calculation. Is the energy I spend attacking this nest worth the risk of being struck in the eye by that bill? Young crocodiles need their eyes. A damaged eye is a death sentence in the wild. The calculation tips against the attack. On the 22nd minute, the crocodile submerges and doesn't return. The shoebill stands over the eggs for another 10 minutes. Then she lowers herself back down to incubate, as if nothing happened. 16 more days of incubation. The crocodile incident was day 14. The eggs hatch around day 30. In those 16 days, there are no more crocodile visits. But there are other incidents. A monitor lizard tests the perimeter twice, both times repelled by the shoebill's posture alone before it ever gets within striking range. A heavy rainstorm floods part of the nest base. The female spends 3 hours reinforcing the platform, adding stems, pressing them down, raising the eggs fractionally higher above the waterline. On day 28, the first egg begins to sound different. If you put your ear to it, and the field researchers who study shoebills have done this, you can hear the chick inside moving against the shell, tapping, pushing, working. Hatching in birds is called pipping. when the chick first breaks through the shell from inside. For the shoebill, pipping takes up to 48 hours. The chick doesn't punch through in one blow. It rotates slowly inside the egg, using a small, temporary structure on its bill called an egg tooth, a hardened keratin tip that disappears within weeks of hatching, to score a line around the shell's equator. When the line is complete, the top lifts off. The first chick emerges on day 30, wet, eyes closed, the down on its head plastered flat. It weighs roughly 120 grams, about the weight of an orange. It is completely helpless. It cannot regulate its own body temperature. It cannot stand. It cannot feed itself. It can open its bill and make a sound, a thin, rasping call, which the parent responds to immediately. The parent bends over it, partially sheltering it with her wing. The chick's bill, even at birth, already shows the broad, flat shape of the adult, just in miniature, like a sketch of the animal it will become. The second egg is still intact. It will take another 3 to 5 days. When that second chick hatches, it will be smaller, weaker, and already 3 to 5 days behind its sibling in development. Both chicks will require food. Both will compete for it. The parent will not split food equally. The parent will not intervene in sibling conflict. This is not neglect. This is optimization. In the shoebill's world, raising one strong chick guarantees the survival of the genes. Raising 2 weak chicks risks losing both. The math is brutal, and it works. By day 5 after hatching, there are 2 chicks in the nest. The first is already stronger. It can hold its head up. It responds faster to the parent's arrival with food. It positions itself closer to the parent's bill. The second chick hatches into a world that's already been claimed. What happens over the next few weeks is documented, studied, and still difficult to watch. When the parent is away, hunting, the larger chick attacks the smaller one. Not playful jostling, deliberate pecking at the head and neck, pushing it to the edge of the nest platform, keeping it away from food when the parent returns. The smaller chick loses weight. Its calls become weaker. It moves less. It stops competing. Around day 20 to 25, the smaller chick is no longer competing for food. It may have fallen from the nest into the water below. It may have died from stress and malnutrition. In most documented shoebill nests with 2 eggs, only 1 chick survives to fledging. The parent doesn't intervene because intervention would cost energy and provide no biological benefit. This isn't a parent choosing a favorite. This is a parent whose only biological instruction is direct resources toward whatever is most likely to survive. The dominant chick signals fitness. The weaker one signals cost. The surviving chick grows fast. At 30 days, it's covered in gray-white down. Its bill is already disproportionately large for its body. It can stand, though shakily. It recognizes its parent and responds to its approach. At 60 days, the down is thicker. The chick can walk the length of the nest platform without falling. The parent is now leaving for longer stretches, sometimes 4 to 6 hours, because the chick needs more food as it grows, and hunting in these swamps is slow work. The food is primarily lungfish, Protoptera species, which are perfect shoebill prey. Lungfish can breathe air, which means they occasionally surface in shallow water. They're large, relatively slow, and dense with calories. A single lungfish can weigh 2 to 3 kilograms, half the weight of the adult bird delivering it. The parent swallows the fish partially, flies back to the nest, and regurgitates it directly into the chick's open bill. That wide, flat bill that seems so strange becomes suddenly obvious in function. It's a scoop, a bowl, a receiving dish for partially digested protein. At 90 days, the chick begins to look like its parents. The gray down is being replaced by the slate blue feathers that give adults their coloration. The bill has grown to nearly adult proportions. It's beginning to practice the motions of hunting, watching the water, holding still, the slow weight shift forward that precedes a strike. At around 95 to 105 days, the young shoebill fledges. The first real flights are short, 10, 15 meters, and awkward. The wingspan of a shoebill is 230 to 260 centimeters. Managing 2.5 meters of wing in a narrow swamp corridor is a skill, not an instinct. The parent doesn't stop feeding it immediately after fledging. This is important, and it's something the competitor's video didn't get into. Shoebill fledglings remain partially dependent on their parents for food for several weeks after they can fly. The parent hunts. The fledgling follows, watches, attempts. Most early hunting attempts fail. The strike timing is wrong. The approach angle is wrong. The fish escapes. But each failure updates the chick's neural map of what works. By the time it's 6 months old, it's hunting independently. Not perfectly, but consistently. By 12 months, the success rate has improved enough that it no longer needs the parent at all. The parent and offspring don't have a ceremonial separation. The distance simply grows. One day the parent is hunting 50 meters away, then 200. Then it's in a different section of the swamp entirely. And the young shoebill doesn't follow. It's alone, and it's ready. Here's where I want to stop and ask you to hold two things at once. First, a bird weighing less than 7 kilograms, standing over 2 eggs in an open water nest, drove off a crocodile. Not by size, not by speed, by commitment, and by the precise delivery of pain to the right location at the right moment. Second, that same bird a few weeks later stood by and watched while her stronger chick pecked her weaker chick toward death. She didn't intervene because the biology that built her didn't include that instruction. Both of these things are true. Both of these things are what a shoebill is. There are fewer than 5,000 shoebills left on Earth. The papyrus swamps they depend on are being drained for agriculture in Uganda, South Sudan, and Zambia. Human activity in wetlands, fishing, cattle grazing, charcoal burning, keeps disrupting nests during the breeding season. A species that produces, at best, 1 surviving chick per pair per year cannot absorb much disruption. The math on that side is also brutal, just in the opposite direction. The shoebill has been standing still in swamps for millions of years, watching the water, waiting for the right moment. It drove off a crocodile not because it was fearless, but because standing ground was the only option that worked. That's not inspiration. That's just what the animal does. If this gave you something to think about, leave a comment. What moment in this video stopped you? If you want to see more stories like this, subscribe. The next one is a species you've probably never heard of, and it's doing something even harder to explain.